Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's hard level difficulty puzzle, and it's called Slipstream by Sam Kappelman Lines. And here are the rules. We have normal Sudoku rules applied, which means in every cell in the grid, place a single digit from 1 through 9 such that there are no repeats in any row, column, or designated 9-cell region, which is a box. Some clues are given outside the grid. For each clue, number the cells in its row or column from 1 to 9, starting with the cell nearest the clue. Okay, so that means these are the digits 1 through 9 this way, this is the digits 1 through 9 that way. Right, so this would be the first digit, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. Starting from the first cell, go to the X cell. Go to the X cell, where X is the number in the first cell. Right, so we don't actually number the 1 through 9. We basically just consider them the first through ninth cells. So starting from the first cell, we go to the X cell, where X is the number in the first cell. Then go to the Y cell, where Y is the number in the X cell, and so on until you end up back at the first cell. And the clue indicates the sum of the numbers in the cells visited in this way. So basically, this 33 means that you start with this digit and say it was a 7 or whatever. Then you would go to the 7th cell in that row, which would be here. So that this would basically highlight going to here. This digit then tells you the next digit where you go to. So say it was a 5. Oops. Say this was a 5 here. That would mean that you go to the 5th cell in that row, looking at this direction. So then that would be like, I don't know, it could be something like 3, right? And then that cell goes to essentially the 3rd cell, which I don't know. We have 8. I'm trying to figure out how to actually do this. 8. Basically, you keep jumping to each cell until you get to essentially 1, and then you'll jump back to the first cell in the row. And once you get back to the first cell, the sum of the numbers in the cells visited this way is the number that's outside the row or column. And those are all the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, to add up to 6. So obviously, for any of these sums, you're never going to have a 1 in the first cell. Because if you had a 1, it would just stop there, right? It would basically say, go to the first digit, and then it would have a sum of 1. So to add up to 6, it's either 1, 5, so this would be 5, and then this would be 1. Or it's some combination of 1, 2, and 3. To get to 45, obviously you have to have all the digits in that be part of the sum. So basically, the last digit in column 9 has to be 1, essentially. The last digit you get to in column 9 has to point back to 1, but this cannot be 1, obviously. This is either, again, 5, 2, or 3, right? And the 1 in this row has to either be in 2 or 3, or it's in the 5, right? So then you have 5, 1, and then you go back to 5. Same here. This is 2, 3, or 5. And you can have the 1 be either here or here. Okay, well that helps us a lot. Because here, again, you have to go, you'll go either 5 and 1 and then back to 5, or you go 2, 3, and then back to 1. So 1 can never be this digit, which means this must be 1, 2, or 3 here, right? Because this goes to 2, which would go to 3, 3, so 2, 3, then 1, and then that adds up to 6. So the rest of the column must be 4 through 9. To add up to 12, it has to be, this is either, 1 is in either 7 or 8. If it's 8, you would add 8, 1, and what to add up to 12? It would be 3, which is not possible. So it would have to be 7, right? So then 1 has to be in the 7th spot this way, right? Because if it's in the 8th spot, it would require 1 and 3, and we know 1 and 3 is not allowed in the rest of that row. So it must be 7, eventually going back to 1. So that's 1, which means this can't be 1. This cannot be 3, because if it goes to 3 and then 1, it would add up to 4. So this must be 2, which makes this 3. So the 2 jumps to the second cell, which means that's a 3, which comes to the third cell, which means that's a 1, which jumps back to the first cell. So this is the 7th cell, so it must get to the 7th cell from another digit, and that must be the 4th digit. 1, 4, and 7 add up to 12. 1, 5, and 7 does not, though. So this must be then 4. So the 4th digit this way must be 7. So 4 and 7 cannot be in the rest of the row. Okay. So to get back to 37, that means you have to get everything except for the 8, or everything except for 2 and 6, which can't work, or everything except for 3 and 5. So the 2 goes back to the 1. So 1 is basically the last digit before it gets back to the sum, or before it gets back to the beginning. We also have 8. To add up to 8, it must be either like 7 and 1. So this could be 7 with that being 1. Or you need a 1 guaranteed in it. So in all these sums, you're always having a 1 added to it. So again, this goes 4, 7, 4, 4th digit, which means that's the digit we go to next, which is 7, which means that's 1. 2 means go to the second digit, which means that's 3, which means go to the third digit. So 2, 3, and then 1. That adds up to 6. For 8, it could be 7 and 1. We need a 1 as the last digit. So it could be 2, 5, and 1, or 3, 4, and 1. So this could be 2, 3, 4, or 5 here. It could be 5, 2, 1, 3, 4. So 1 could be any of these digits here for the 8. We don't know. This can't be 1. So it cannot be 7 and 1. Therefore, it must be one of these 4 is a 1. So this can't be 7 here. You have 13 here. To add up to 13, can it ever be... Well, okay. This is going to be either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4, adding up to 8. Therefore, you cannot Can you combine? Probably. Well, hard to say. So 1 has to be one of these digits here. So it's either 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th. Okay. 9 would be... Okay, so 1 cannot be here, so it can't be 1, 8. So it must be 3 digits adding up to 9, because it can't be 4. So it's 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. So this is 2, 3, 5, or 6, and the 1 can be in 2, 3, 5, or 6 as possibilities for this 9. This can't be 4. So if it's 1, 3, and 4, this must be the 3, which means this would be 4, which would mean that would be 1. So 1 can never be here, because if this is 1 and this is 3 and 1, then it would just bounce back and forth, and that would be 4, adding up to 4. So if this is 2 and 6, this way, it would first have to go to 2, because 1 can't be here. So it'd be 2. That would force this to be 1. 2 would be here. That would force this to be 6, which would force this to be 1. So you can never have 6 here. Interesting. So this is what? 5, 6, or 8 with 1. That means this must be 3 digits adding up to 13. Well, no, it could be 4 with 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If you have a 5, it could be 1, 5, and 7, adding up to 13. So it can never be 2 digits. So it's 5, 6, or 8 here as the last digit. For 3 digits, it could be 1, 5, and 7. For 6, it doesn't work, right? If this is 6, you would have to be 1, 6, and 6. Oh wait, no, you could be 1, 2, 4, and 6. Okay. So 3 digits doesn't work for 6, because that'd be 1, 6, 6. 3 digits works for 5, 1, 5, 7, and it works for 8, 1, 4, 8. For 4 digits, it could be 1, 2, 4, 6, or 1, 3, 4, 5. And I think, yeah, with 5 and 6 specifically, those are the only possibilities. You can't have 7 again. Why can't this be 1? Oh yeah, because this can't be 4 here. So since this can't be 4, the 1 has to be one of these, right? Because if we try to go 1, 4, 3, 1, You can't have a 4 here, right? So that would be 4, 3, and 1 doesn't work. So 1 can't be here. So it could only be 3, 4, and then 1 as a possibility. Can this ever be 3, 4, and 1 is kind of a question, right? So say you had 3, which makes this 4, that 1. That would be 8. The problem is I don't think this works then, right? As 6, if you have 1 and 6 together, it can't be 1, 6, 6, obviously. It could be 6 and 1. That would add up to only 7. You would have to have 1, 2, 4, and 6 in this row to work. But that doesn't work, right? Because you already have a 4 in that row. And it can't be like 2 here or 6 here. It definitely can't be 6 here because that would be 1 here and then that would add up to 7. But if you had 2 here and then this was 6, that would add up to 9 only. 2, you can't add 7 with the 4 to add up to 13. Because 2, say this was 2 and this was 7. That goes to, well, you can't. You have to go to the 6. So 3, 4, and 1 does not work for the 13 going this way. So it cannot be 2, it cannot be 3. This must be then 2, 5, and 1. So the 1 has to be one of these two. Okay. Say this was 5. If this is 5, that would force this to be 2 and this to be 1, right? 5 jumps to the 5th cell, 2 jumps to the 2nd cell, and 1 jumps to the 1st cell again. So that would work that way. What about 13? This is the 8th cell, so 8 and 1 add up to 9, so it would have to have 4. So it would have to be something like 4, 8, and 1, right? 4 says go to the 4th cell, 8 says go to the 8th cell, 1 goes back to the 1st cell. So that does work. What about the other way? So what if this is 2, which makes this 5, and that 1? So this is the 5th cell, and then you try to go the other way, and I don't think that works, right? How do you get to the 1st cell? You need to get to the 5th cell. Well, how do you get to the 5th cell? It's the 8th cell going this way. But 1, 5, and 8 already adds up to 14, which is greater than the sum of this. So this cannot work. So this has to be then a 5, which makes this 2, which makes this 1. Right? 5 going to 2, going to 1. We have 8 here we need to get to. 1 and 8 adds up with 4 to add up to 13. So this must be 4, which makes this an 8, which makes that 13. So this cannot be 1 here. That means this can't be 5. This can't be 2 anymore. So this could be either 3 going to... It cannot be 3. If this is 3, it goes directly to the 1, which would go back to itself. So this has to be 5. So this is 5, and this is 1. Adding up to 6, right? So it bounces here and here. This bounces 4, 8 to 1. That's 13. 5, 2 to 1, which is 8. If this were 3, that would force this to be 5 and 1, but it can't work that way. So this must be the 1 here. We also have a 1 here, so this has to be 1 here, which means this is 2, which points that to be 6, right? To get added to 9, right? 2 jumps to the second one, 6, which jumps to the 6th one, which jumps to the first one, which is 1, 2, and 6. That eliminates 6 in the column. This 5 eliminates 5 in the column. Where is 1 in column 9? Can't be here because of the 1 in the box. Can't be here because of 1 in the box. It cannot be the first digit because then it just points to itself and that would be sum up to 1. So this must be a 1 here. Let's mark all the ones we've done as green. So this is done, this is done, this is done, and this is done. So the 1 has to be here, which means 3 is the second to last one that we point to. Okay, this is 18 going this way. To get to from the 1, we need to get to the 5th one, right? And to get to the 5th one, we need 9. So 1, 5, and 9 add up to 15. You cannot have 2 other digits in that or more adding up with those to add up to 18. That would be 3 in most. So it must be 3, 1, 3, 5, and 9. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to pause. And that was a spam number, or an unknown number in my area code, which I don't recognize, so it's probably a spammer. Anyways, let's continue. So yeah, this to add up to 18, we need the 1 here and the 5. We need the 1 to get back to the first one. We need the 5 to point to that 1. And to point to the 5, we need a 9. And the only other digit that adds up with those digits would be 3 to add up to 18. So it must be then 3 pointing to the third number, 9 pointing to the fifth, to the number 5. So 3 pointing to the third number, 9 pointing to the ninth number, which is 5, which points to the fifth number, which is 1, which goes back to the first digit. So that's, again, 1, 3, 9 is 13 plus 5 is 18. So this is satisfied. That means 9 cannot appear in the rest of the box. 8 can't be here because of the 8 in the column. Okay, so this is satisfied. This should be satisfied too because it points to the fifth one, which points back to the 1. And it can't be 3 because that would be 3 and 1 back and forth, and that would be 4. Okay. Remaining digits in row 8 are 3, 7, and 9. This can't be 7 because of the 7 in the column. This can't be 3 because of the 3 in the column. This 1 needs to get back to a 2. What does it mean to not have a value in it? So say this is everything but the 8. If that were the case, it would need to go to every single other digit in this column but the 8th digit. And the 8th digit would then have to contain an 8. But that can't be the case because in the 8th cell in this column, we have a 3, 7, or 9 here. So we must be missing the 3rd and the 5th digit. And those must have 3 and 5 in them. Well, this can't be 3 because of the 3 in the box, so this must be a 5, which makes that a 3. So those are the ones we're missing in column 3. We have a 7, 9, 7, 9 pair now in row 8, which eliminates 7 and 9 in the rest of the row. So this is 3 here. This is 3 here. So we must, okay, so the rest of the digits in column 3 have to be 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, these cannot be a 7, 9 pair because of the 7, 9 in the column, or 7, 9 in the box, that pair in the box. This can't be 2, obviously, because of the 2 in the box. The rest of the digits here are 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 in box 1, these can't be 9 though because of the 9 in the column. The rest of column 5 has to be what? We have 4, 6, 7, 8. And this can't be 8 because of the 8 in the box. Okay, this is missing 13 in value. This is missing 12 in value here. So this is done too. This 2 eliminates 2 here. 2 is the second to last digit. And it's either, what, 4 in the 4th, 6th, or 8th spot. This 4 eliminates 4 in the column. This 33 needs a 5 with it because 1 is in that spot. 1 has to be one of these 2 digits here. Three has to be one of these 3 digits here as the remaining digit. 1 has to be one of these 2. 2s. 2 has to be one of these 2 digits. 2 can't be here or here. 3 is one of these 2 digits. 3 can't be here or here, so 3 has to be one of those 2 digits. 4. 5 has to be one of these 2 digits here. Hmm. 5 cannot be here. 5 is one of these 3. Seven, 8, and 9. Okay. So in column 2, we're missing 13. Obviously, 1 doesn't work. We could be missing 4, 9, 5, 8. Oh. This 4 eliminates 4 in the rest of this box. What are the remaining digits in this box? We have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8. And 2 cannot be here. 5 cannot be here. This can't be 2 because of the 2 in the column. This can't be 3 or 3. So 1 has to be... It cannot be in the first, second, or third cell. It can't be 4th or 5th. It's in the 6th, 7th, or 9th cells here. 3 is in the 3rd cell in row 5 in this 33. So 3 can never be part of the sum because it would point to itself. Right, so that's one thing about these clues is that the clues that are not in part of the sum must point to each other, right? So we get that here, right? Where the 5th, the 2nd, and the 1st point to each other, but then the 6th points to the 8th, which points to either the 7th or 9th, which would point to one of these 2, which points to the other 7 or 9, which points to 4, which points to 3, which points back to the 6. So the sums essentially give you clues for the sums, the jumping spots, but then it also tells you that these have to jump to each other, right? So that's why we knew this was 3 and 5. Because the 8 by itself couldn't just jump to itself. Now we have the 3 being here, which means it jumps to itself. So we are definitely removing the 3 from this spot, which means it's either 3 and 9 are gone, or it's 3, 2, and 7, or it's 3, 4, and 5, but it can't be 3, 4, 5. So either 3 in row 5, either 3 and 9 are not part of the sum, or it's 3, 2, and 7. You can't have 3, 1, and 8, obviously, because the 1 has to always come back to here. And it can't be 3, 3, 6, because obviously there would be multiple 3s in that row. Hmm. Remaining digits in box 9 are 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. 4 cannot be either of these two digits. Remaining digits in box 8 have to be 1, 4, 6, 7, 9. And these can't be 7 because of the 7 in the column. Okay. The rest of column 7 is 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 4 in box 3 because of the 4 in the box. This can't be 3 because of the 3 in the row. This can't be 3 because of the 3 in the row. This can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4 because of the 1, 3 in the row and the 2, 4 in the column. So this is 5 through 9. It cannot be 5 because that would point to the 1, which points back to the first cell, which would mean that adds up to 6. Remaining digits in column 9. We have 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, this can't be 3 because of the 3 in the row. This can't be 3 because of the 3 in the row. It cannot go... It could go to 2. 4... We're missing 32 here. So again, we're missing 13 in column 2. So it could be 4, 9, 5. It cannot be 5, 8. Because if it's 5, 8, this is not 5 or 8 here as a pair. It could be 6, 7. Actually, it can't be 4, 9 either. If it's 4, 9, these two digits would have to be 4 and 9 here that we're missing. But that's not allowed. Can't be 5, 8. It could be 6, 7, because this could be 6 and that could be 7. So that's possible. Otherwise, the 13 does not have a 1. It could be missing 2, 3, and 8, except that none of these are 2, 3, and 8, so that wouldn't work. 2, 4, and 7, except that this is not 3. You can't have 4 digits missing, but that would be minimum 2, 3, 4, 5. So you either have 6 or 7 missing. It can't be 2, 4, 7. It can't be 2, 3, 8 because this doesn't have 2, 3, or 8 in the 8th cell. And you have a 3 in the 2nd cell. So anything with a 2 would have to have a 3. So I think we're missing... So the 2 has to be part of the set with the 3. It cannot then be 3, 4, and 6 either. It would have to be 2, 3, 8 if it's 3 digits. You can't have 4 digits. And even then, if it's 2, 3, 8, the problem is this isn't 2, 3, or 8. So it's not forming a cycle within itself, which it needs to not be part of the other cycle. So I think it has to be 6 and 7 that we're missing here, right? Because again, the 32, so the cycle that forms for the set that finally gets back to 1, the first cell, is a separate cycle than the other set, right? So for example, here, this is 2, 3, and 1, and the other ones form a set that cycles amongst itself, which is 4 through 9, which is fine. This is 5, 1, and 2, which means the other set digits must be in 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 position, which cycles amongst itself, right? Same with this 4, 8, and 1. That means the other digits cycle amongst themselves. Like if this were 5 going to 7 to 3 to whatever. Or whatever 9 goes here goes to the 5th, which goes to the 2nd, which means it goes back to the 7th or whatever. It could be just cycling back to 5, 2, and 9. And then you have 3, 6, and 7 all cycling together. Or it could just be one large cycle amongst those 6. So that's why we know this can't be 2, 3, 8, because that's why we know it can't be 4 and 9, because 9 cannot just, the 9th cell cannot cycle just between 4 and 9. It can't be 5 and 8 for the similar reason, because you can't cycle between the 5th cell and the 8th cell. To get to, for 3 digits, again, you can't have 4, because 2, 3, 4, 5 at minimum adds up to 14. And 1 is always part of the on cycle here. So if we have a 2, if we have a 3, it has to be part of a cycle with 2 no matter what, right? Because the third digit in this, the second digit in this column is a 3. So 2 has to always, 2 always has to be in the same set as the third one. And if we try to have 2, 3, and 8, this doesn't have 2, 3, or 8 here. So it can't be part of that cycle. So therefore, we know it's 6 and 7 that's not in this set. So this is 6, which makes that 7, which makes this 9, which makes that 7. That means 7 cannot be any of these cells. 7 cannot be any of these cells. We have a 6, 9 pair also in column 2, which eliminates 6 and 9 in the rest of the column. So this is a 4, 8 pair, which eliminates 4 and 8 in the rest of the column. So this 4, 8 pair means this cannot be 8, and it can't be 6 because of the 6 in the column also. So this is a 1 here, which means this can't be 1, this can't be 1, these can't be 6. This 6 eliminates 6 here, so this is 8, which means this can't be 6 or 8, it's 2. This can't be 6 or 8, so it's 3, which makes this a 5. That's 3 in the corner. We celebrate because we know we're getting close to solving it. This can't be 2 or 8 in the column now. Okay. The rest of the digits in column 2 have to be 2 and 5. This cannot point to 8, because if it's the 8th one, it would point to the 9, which would then point to the 1, and that's 18 only. So this must point to 4. This is 8. 4 cannot point to 2, because that would skip the 5, right? It'd be 4, 2. That would make 3, 8, 9, 1, right? And so then 1, 2, 3, 4 adds up to 10. With 8 and 9 adds up to 27, but that's not 32. So this must be, so 4 points to this one. This must be 5 pointing to the 5th cell, which means this is 2 pointing to the 3rd cell, which means it's pointed to 8. 8 points to 9, which points to 1. And that adds up to 32, because we're missing the 7 and 6 here. This must be a 1 here. This can't be 7 because of the 7 in the box. So this is a 4, which means this can't be 4. This adds up everything except 3 and 5. So this can never be 6 because it was pointing to itself. 2 is the second to last digit. So, because, right, it points to the second digit here, which is 1, which would point back to itself. So 2 is the second to last digit. That means 7th is the third to last digit. 8th is the 4th to last digit. That means 9 has to be the 5th to last digit, but it can't be the first digit. So that means this is a 6, which means this can't be 6 or 8. This can't be 6 or 8, so this is 7, which makes that 9. This 6 eliminates 6 here. So it points to here. This cannot be 9th, because then that would skip the 4. So this has to be a 4, which makes this 9. So then it goes jumping here. 6 to the 4th, to the 9th, to the 8th, to the 7th, to the 2nd, to the 1. And that adds up to 37. So this cannot be 9, so this is a 6-8 pair here. We cannot have a 9 here. We can't have a 6 or a 9 here because of the 6 or 9 in the row. This can't be 5, 7, 8, or 9, so this must be a 3, which means 3 cannot be here, and 3 cannot be either of these. These can't be 1 because of the 1 in the row. These can't be 3 because of the 3 in the row. Okay. 2 and 3 point to each other. So 2 and 3 cannot be part of this pair adding up to of this cycle. So we're missing 2 and 3. You can't miss 4, because that's 12 digits without a 1 adding up to, 4 digits adding up to 12 without a 1. That would be 2, 3, 4, 5 at minimum, which is 14, which is not allowed. So this must be 2, 3, and 8 not being in the cycle, right? The 2 points to itself, the 3 points to itself. That means the 8 must point to it. Well, no, it's 7. 7 must point to itself, right? 2, 3, and 7 adds up to 12, which is 45 minus 33. So this is 7. So this is 7, which means this can't be 2 or 7. These can't be 7. This can't be 7. This can't have a 7 in the rest of the box. 9 cannot be here because of a 9 in the row. This can't be 4 or 7 because of the 4 or 7 in the row. We have a 6, 8, 6, 8 pair in column 5, which eliminates 6 and 8 in the rest of the columns. This can't be 6 or 8. This can't be 6. It's 4, 7 here. The rest of row 5 is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Okay. This can't be 8 because of 8 in the column. Hmm. Okay. The rest of row 3 is what? We have 2, 4, and 6. And any of those could still be 2, 4, or 6. Okay. So this is done, right? So this points to the 4, which is 5. So that's 9. Plus 2 is 11. Plus 3 is 14. Plus 8 is 22. Plus 9 is 31. Plus 1 is 32. So these are done. Three has to be the second to last digit in the cycle. So we still have this and we still have this that we need to finish. This can't be 4 because of the 4 in the row. These can't be 4 because of the 4 in the box, whereas the 4 in column 7, it must be here. So this is 4, which means this can't be 4, so that's 7, which makes that a 4. That eliminates 4 in the rest of box 5. Where's the 4 in row 5 then? It has to be here. So this is 4. These can't be 4 anymore. These can't be 7. This can't be 7. This can't be 7. So where is the 7 in column 4? Can't be here because of the 7 in the box. Can't be here because of the 7 in the box. Can't be here because of the 7 in the row. So it has to be one of these two cells here. And we know 3 has to also be there, so this must be a 3-7 pair here. Okay. That means, where is the 2 in box 5? It must be one of these two cells, because this is a 3-7 pair here. So this is 2, which means this cannot be 2 here or here. One of these two must be a 2 here. 4. 5 has to be one of these two digits. So it's either from 4 or from 6. We're not sure which. 4 cannot be here. So 1 has to be one of these two. 4 has to be one of those two. Okay. Okay. This is either 6 or 8. If this is 6, that means this could not be 5, because then it would be 6, 5, bouncing back to this one, which was 1, and that would add up to 12. So if this is 6, this becomes a 5, which means this is 4. So the 4 points to the 5, which would point to the 1, which would go back to this cell. So if this is 6, this can never be 8, right? Because then that would skip... Oh, this can't be ever 9. So this becomes a 6-8 pair in row 5, right? Because if it's 9, it points to itself, and therefore would not be part of the sum, adding up to 33. That 6-8 pair eliminates 6 and 8 in the rest of the row. So this becomes a 5-9 pair here. That leaves the remaining digits in this middle box as 2, 6, and 8. Okay. Okay, so if this is 5 and this were 8, they would point to each other. So this cannot be 5. Therefore, this cannot be 8. So this must be 6, which makes that an 8. So that makes that 6. So 8 points to 4. which would point to that digit. If it went to 5 to 1 to 8, that would be too small of a sum. So this must be 9, which makes that 5. That means none of these can be 9. This 6 eliminates 6 in the rest of the column. So again, this points to the 8th cell, so that's 8 plus 12. Sorry, 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 9 is 21, plus 6 is 27, plus 5 is 32, plus 1 is 33. So that's satisfied now too. So we have to figure out the 45. This can't be 9. This can't be 8 or 9. This can't be 9 because it would point to itself then. So this can't be 8 or 9, so this must be 7. So this can no longer be 7 here. This can't be 8 because of the 8 in the row, so this is a 9, which means this can't be 9. This becomes a 4-6 pair in box 9, which eliminates 4 and 6 in the rest of the box. This can't be 4 or 6, so this is 1. This can't be 1 or 6, so that's 9. 1 eliminates 1 here. Where's the 1 in box 2? It has to be here. So this is 1. The remaining digits in column 4 are 2, 4, 5, 6, but this can't be 4 or 6, so this is specifically 2 and 5. Where is the 8 in this box? It can only be here. So because it can't be here, it can't be here because of the 8 in the column and 8 in the row. So this is 8, which makes this 6, so none of these can be 6. This 8 eliminates 8 here. This 7 eliminates 7 in the rest of the column. This 9 eliminates 9 in the rest of the box, so this is a 3-8 pair. We have a 2, 3, 8 triplet in column 9, which eliminates 2, 3, and 8 in the rest of the column. So this must be 9, which means this can't be 9 here. This 7 eliminates 7 here, so it's 3 and 7. Where... Never mind. 3 is not guaranteed to be here. The rest of row 4 is 2, 3, and 8. The rest of row 6 is 2, 5, and 8. We have a 5, 8, 5, 8 pair in column 7, which eliminates 5 and 8 in the rest of the column, so this can't be 5. This is 9, so this can't be 9 here. Okay. We have a 2, 5, 8 triplet in row 1, which eliminates 2, 5, 8 in the rest of the row, so this must be a 7 here. If this were 8, that would force this to be 3. So 3 would be the second to last digit in the cycle. So then this would be 2, guaranteed. So 8 points to 5, which points to 6, which points to 9, which points to 7, which would point to 3. Oh, 4, yeah, 4. 2 cannot be 4 here, because if this were 2, it would point back into each other, and this would not be part of the sum. So this cannot be 2, because again, this would be 2 and 4 bouncing around together. So this is a 3, 8 pair, which eliminates 3 and 8 in the rest of the column, so this can't be 8, this is 2. 2 points to 4, it cannot point to 3, because then that would form that cycle, which would be adding up to 10. So So this would be 8. That's 3, which makes this 8. This 8 eliminates 8 here, so it's 5. This can't be 5 or 8, so it's 2, which makes this 8, which makes that 2. Therefore, that makes that 3. 2 eliminates 2 here, so it's 5, 6. This can't be 6 here, so it's 4, which means this can't be 4 or 6, so it's 2. This 5 eliminates 5 here, so it's 8. This 6 eliminates 6 here, so it's 5. This can't be 2 or 4, so it's 6. This 4 eliminates 4 here, so it's 6, and that's 4. So again, to bounce around, let's look at this. This says go to the second cell and add a 2. Go to the third cell, add 3, which is 5. Go to the third cell, go to the first cell, which is cycling back, and add 1, so that's 6. Eighth cell, 8 plus 4, 12, plus 9 is 21, plus 6 is 27, plus 5 is 32, plus 1 is 33. 4 plus 8 plus 1 is 13. 5 plus 2 plus 1 is 8. 5 plus 1 is 6, goes back to fourth. 2 plus 6 plus 1 is 9. We already did this one. 4 to 7 to 1 is 12. 2, second goes to the fourth, which goes to the eighth, which goes to the fifth, which goes to the sixth, which goes to the ninth, which goes to the seventh, which goes to the seventh, which goes to the third, which goes to the first, which means that all of them are counted. 3 going to the ninth, that's 12, plus 5 is 17, plus 1 is 18. 6 going to the fourth, so 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 9 is 19, plus 8 is 27, plus 7 is 34, plus 2 is 36, plus 1 is 37. 4 going to the 5, that's 9. 2 plus 2 is 11, plus 3 is 14, plus 8 is 22, plus 9 is 31, plus 1 is 32. So we've shown all of these cycles work. I don't even know what to call these. This is Slipstream, I guess, but yeah, pretty cool logic actually behind this. I don't know, maybe because I'm just so used to killer cage Sudokus, I recognize some of these patterns and then how it actually has to interact with each other. I don't know. It seemed fairly straightforward for me, but I don't know. Maybe it is a hard puzzle. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this solve, and I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.